Hey, sorry for the interruption, but we wanted to let you know that this week's episode is brought to you by Spotify for Podcasters. Really cool app. Josiah and I use it for every single show that we bring to you every week. You can edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so you can start creating as soon as you log into the platform. You can easily distribute your podcasts to Spotify and everywhere else the podcasts are heard, just like we do every single week. You can also create video podcasts on Spotify, which is really cool. And of course, you can earn money like I'm doing right now by including ads and even podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free. There's no catch. We really love it. We use it every single week. So we encourage you to go download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. All right, let's get back to the show.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. Each week, join Travis and Josiah as they provide insight into the print on demand industry and equip you with the tools, advice, and strategy you need to achieve success and hopefully have a few laughs along the way. Now, on to this week's show.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Print on Demand Cast. So great to have you with us again this week. As always, joining me, Travis. How's it going, man? How's things going since the last time we chatted? And what have you thought? What did you think about the Robin Johnson episode? I know that we've talked about that even in the post on that episode, but I went back and listened to it today and really enjoyed the information. What did you think?
Dude, she's great. And I mean, I know we kind of talked a lot about how awesome we really think of her. And, you know, I mean, we really do respect her. But, yeah, it was a great interview. She's got so much information to share and literally could talk to her for hours and have talked to her for hours about business. Yeah. I'd love to have her back on sometime.
Yeah, we need to. I feel like there's a lot of areas of expertise that she has that we didn't touch on last week, but that would be super beneficial for our audience to listen to and hear her insight on that. Yeah. This week, I'm excited to talk about holidays. We just came out of Q4, and so we thought it was appropriate after coming out of the holiday season to talk about getting ready for a holiday season. But before we do that, I want to go to this week's point of interest.
Point of interest. Point of interest. No, I said point of interest.
So, Travis, you and I were texting today about, you know, when to record and trying to nail down a time and whatnot. And you sent me a link to something that is the Weird Holiday Guide that was recently updated for 2021. And that's this week's point of interest. We're going to talk about some holidays that we know that our listeners have never heard of because you and I have never heard of any of these holidays. First of all, how did you find this link to this list of shenanigans that apparently is national holidays?
Well, Rachel Rofe, she's a longtime internet marketer, and even more recently, she put together the Low Hanging System, which is a course on how to sell coffee mugs, really. And she actually now has her own fulfillment center and fulfills for a lot of people. And she still sends out like an email, and I'm on her email list, and I saw this, and I had to click on it, and oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did. This thing is gold. It's pure gold. We've been sitting here like for the we do a pre-production kind of talk about what we're going to talk about, and we were just riffing we should have had the recording on then, because we were just going back and forth with all of these amazing holidays. And I do holidays in air quotes.
Yes, I said national holiday. I should be sure to tell the people I don't know if they're national holidays. I'm sure Hallmark would love to make cards for every single one of these, but it's really, really obscure things. Like you can literally, I'm on the link right now, and maybe we'll post the link in the show notes for people to take a look at this list themselves. But, you know, for example, August 6th is Wiggle Your Toes Day. That's the...
So apparently that's a thing. That's a thing.
Yes, on August 6th, it is appropriate for you to wiggle your toes. On August 13th, Left-Handers Day. Now, I know a lot of left-handed people would actually advocate for that because my mom's left-handed, one of my sisters is left-handed. They're like, this is such a right-handed world, and I don't know what they're talking about. So maybe Left-Handers Day, you make a left-handed coffee mug. You can advertise your coffee mugs as left-handed. See? And there you go. But, man, Travis, the list is endless.
How about National Tuba Day, May 7th? National Tuba Day. Who knew? Nice. Who knew?
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Or if you like hummus, well, there's a day for that. May 13th is National Hummus Day. So, I mean, we could go on, and I'm not kidding. In fact, Josiah, let's go on with some of these.
Let's keep talking about what is out there.
Oh my gosh. Hold the phone. May 29th, put a pillow on your fridge day. Let me say that again. Put a pillow on your fridge day. That's May 29th, guys. I can't wait for that.
See
day.
What happens. What I like to think, in the world that I choose to exist in, someone was just playing a little game of what if. Everyone was inside the box. He was outside the box playing a little game of what if. And thought, what happens if you put a pillow on a refrigerator? What happens, sir, is a holiday is born.
It is
from putting your pillow on, not in, but on top of your refrigerator.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I mean, I have to now.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna sync on my iCalendar with all of these and just get endless notifications to let me know that September 19th is International Talk Like a Pirate Day, because I need to know this.
Yes, you do. Arr.
Oh, man.
Okay, June 2nd. This is one I will not actually be participating in. June 2nd, yell fudge at the Cobras in North America Day. Yell fudge at the Cobras in North America Day. But can you imagine the coffee mug for that day? You just have this guy yelling, with a thought bubble or a speech bubble saying fudge, and there's a cobra there. I mean, I think that's a winner. That's a winner.
On the list, the Cobras, the T and the C in Cobras is capitalized like it's a gang. Don't like Cobra Kai. Don't go yell fudge at the Cobras, man, because they'll roundhouse kick you in the chops. I don't understand how these things came into existence. But we were talking. I'm trying to find it now as I'm scrolling, but there's not one, but two absolutely incredible kids' days.
Yeah,
that we came upon.
It was March 18th and then March 21st, like 3 days later.
Yeah. Just in case your kid isn't being absolutely incredible, the first go around, he's got 3 days to get his shit together, and then it can then you can celebrate that day. But it's just like you and I literally just scroll and stop, and let's see. There was one. I'm trying to think. The Barbie and Barney Backlash Day.
Yeah.
Is a real thing. December 16th, Barbie and Barney Backlash Day. Apparently, where you are well within your rights, and it is the holiday spirit to just rage against the Barbie and Barney machine. Like, I don't understand how this happens.
The other thing we realized as we were going through there is that America really likes to drink. July 19th is National Daiquiri Day. We saw a National Mulled Wine Day. There was a national
Absinthe Day.
There was a National Taiwan On Day.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
on and on.
Literally could go on forever. I encourage you guys. We should put this in the show notes so that you know that March 15th is Brutus Day, or that March 2nd Old Stuff Day, or that February 17th is My Way Day. So do whatever you want. Have yourself a time. Tie one on, but not too much, because that's not the actual day for doing that. It's like there's just Dump Your Significant Jerk Day is February 7th. So you, the listeners, you need to know these things. And we could go on forever. I feel like we could just riff for hours on the ridiculousness that is this list.
Yeah.
But
I'm just glad that this podcast actually is coming out on January 13th, and the reason it's coming out on January 13th is because January 13th is Make Your Dreams Come True Day. And we feel like we've done that for all of you listeners. So you're welcome. Yeah. We've made your dreams come true.
You get to hear our voices. You get to hear educational information. We might have played it off as if we didn't know all of the holidays on that list, but we knew January 13th was something special, and we wanted to release this episode on such a day so that you can know when you end this podcast, you can say, you know what? I had a great Make Your Dreams Come True day. I'm going to pay that forward because Travis and Josiah have made my dreams come true.
That's
now,
right.
if you're listening to this on the 13th, on the day that it drops, tomorrow, the 14th, you have 4 significant holidays that you need to practice, and we're going to tell you how you can practice all of them simultaneously. Again, making your dreams come true. We don't charge. This is free. This is free. All free content. January 14th, Reptile Awareness Day. It's also Dress Up Your Pet Day,
which could easily go together. Reptile.
Very easily.
If you have a reptile as a pet, you could dress up your reptile on that day, and you're celebrating 2 holidays at the same time. But wait, there's more.
No, it's not like Billy Mays, rest in peace. There is more. It's also International Kite Day. So you're thinking, okay, you said simultaneously. How could you do that? Well, you take your dapper dragon and you tie him to a kite and you let him go and feel like the dragons of yesteryear in the days of yore. And he's flying through the air like his prehistoric ancestors. And he is fulfilling his dreams like you just did the day before. So that's what you do. And then it's also Organize Your Office Day. So then while your dapper dragon is in flight, you can organize your home office because your pet is tied up. You don't have the responsibility of the pet. He's flying a kite, you see, or he's flying on a kite. So that's how you can do all of them simultaneously.
All 4. That's how we make your dreams come true, guys. That's how we do it. We give you these tips and tricks, to live life better. Well, but there's also some people, I'm sure, Josiah, that are listening to this, past, and maybe they've, gone past it. And we did want to also kind of end with January 17th. It's a pretty important holiday for the first month. It's a significant holiday. It's actually Ditch Your New Year's Resolutions Day. So
that's right.
If you've made it this long, just, go ahead and circle January 17th on your calendar.
Yeah. I mean, listen, break your arm patting yourself on the back, folks. You made it 17 days.
Heck yeah.
Adhering to a New Year's resolution. Okay, that's positive. That's positivity. We're not advocating that you quit, but should you want to or should you be over it?
Yeah.
We're just giving you permission. You have permission. To just ditch your New Year's resolution day. Maybe just for that one day on the 17th. Pick it up on the 18th. I don't know. But we're giving you the freedom to do that, which is, again,
making your dreams come true.
Why is this episode should be Making Your Dreams Come True. That's what it should be called.
It should be.
Clickbait, though, because they'll be very disappointed once we get out of the point of interest and into the main event, and they'll realize, they've been bamboozled, as it were. So, guys, seriously, it's hilarious, and all kidding aside, you probably could get some pretty interesting mug, T-shirt ideas out of this list.
Yep.
For May, June, whatever, and stuff those keywords. We're going to talk about all that here in a second, but you never know. There's probably someone that celebrates National Applesauce Cake Day. So, make a mug, put it in the keywords.
If there's a holiday for it, there's an audience for it. At the end of the day, that's the bottom line. And there are definitely going to be buying or, selling opportunities, I should say, from this list. And we'll put it in the show notes so you guys can check it out and get a laugh or two, but also maybe make a few bucks.
Totally. And then you can let us know, info@printondemandcast.com. What's your favorite absurd holiday? And did you make money on an item specifically targeted for one of these, let us know down the road, because we'll want to know. I'm sure we're going to take those notes ourselves, because I'm already thinking about what I can make for January or June 22nd, Stupid Guy Thing Day. Don't even know what that means, but we're going to make it work. So we've been talking a lot about holidays, and that's the thread in this whole episode. So we're going to move out of the point of interest right into the main event.
Main event. It's the main event.
We're still talking about holidays, but we're going to talk about what prepping for a holiday, what that means in terms of the print-on-demand business. And Travis and I are talking about this from a experience standpoint. We've been through many Q4s. We've made lots of mistakes in Q4s, but not just necessarily Q4, because you think about post-Christmas, you've got Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo, Mother's Day, Father's Day. There's lots of other big holidays that people like to celebrate and like to buy stuff to help them celebrate this holiday. We're going to kind of break it down a little bit. We're going to start timeline-wise 4 months out from a holiday. Travis, what should you be doing 4 months out from any given holiday?
Yeah, so I mean, just to back up just a second and just kind of reiterate, this wouldn't apply to all of those holidays we just talked about necessarily.
No. Sure.
But there's also parts of it that could apply to some of those holidays. And I would say if you plan on, the first thing is just to decide which holidays you're actually going to, try to create product for and try to make sales for that particular holiday. Once you've identified those, then I think this list kind of kicks into it. And so like you said, 4 months out, what we're really trying to start doing then is we're going to start researching our design ideas, because or if we're just going to do text or whatever, we're going to research ideas for these products. If we're going to do coffee mugs or T-shirts or some kind of drinkware or even an ornament for Christmas or whatever it is, we have to have a design, to go on that. That's the whole whole name of the game. So what are some ideas for researching designs, Josiah?
Well, you can always look at memes. Memes are everywhere. Memes are all over social media. You can Google funny Christmas memes. You can Google funny St. Patrick's Day memes. And you can get inspiration off of those to design ideas. You don't want to take that exact meme and put it on a mug or a shirt. And we'll get into that, a little later in the episode. But you can get an idea of something that's funny culturally, that's out there, that you can spin and you can use for the designs. Travis, sales data is another one that you can use for research designs, because you can track what's sold well for you in the past, and also there's tools that you can use to track what is selling well that other people have out there. So, talk to us a little bit about sales data and what that means as far as how you can leverage that when you're preparing and researching for designs.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, on an earlier podcast about specifically about sales data and just being able to track what has sold in your business. So you can kind of look at that, because a lot of your, this business is, seasonal. All businesses are in a way seasonal. In other words, they have seasons of greater sales and seasons of lesser sales. To a degree, we're trying to kind of hit those home runs with evergreen products. And by evergreen, we mean things that are always selling. I have a mug that has sold really well over the years, and it's based on like computers, like a tech support type of mug that's done really well, and it's kind of an evergreen mug. But it also sees specific, it sees spikes around maybe administrative assistance days and obviously Christmas, but So your own sales data can give you insights into specific designs that have sold well in the past. And then so if you have something, let's say you have something that did well last year for Mother's Day, well, you can take that same idea and you can just broaden it. And now you're going to do it for aunts and grandmothers. And maybe you're going to change some colors on it and give some nuance to the winner that you had last year. But you can only do that if you have the sales data. And then the other thing we talked about in that podcast a ways back, you didn't know what a tickler file was. Do you remember that, Josiah?
I didn't. I do.
But you know what it is
remember.
now. What is it,
I do.
Josiah?
I no longer think that it's a federal offense or a or a crime that you can be hit with. No, you use it in research. It's when you're searching something, and it's the software that you can kind of have the tickler file remind you, like, hey, you saw this a couple months ago, bring it to your attention, or hey, don't forget about this. You mentioned this last Q4 you liked this, and now I'm reminding you, like, get ready, about know or research or get familiar with this because you were interested in it last year, and I'm just reminding you now. So that can also help you when you are researching for the designs that you are looking to make for the holiday.
Yeah, you can also have, just literally a folder with 12 months on it, or 12 holidays on it. And then, because one of the things that you want to do each year, and this is kind of towards the end of this process, once you've gone through all of the processes of like designing and actually listing and making some sales, you want to, at the high point of the buying season, you want to go on those marketplaces and you want to see what types of things are selling, because those are the winners that you can then put in your tickler file, and then come back to next year and start looking. You have some screenshots of some things that you saw that were really selling well, and you can find some stuff on Etsy, you can find it on Amazon, you can find it on all these different places, your Facebook feed, and then you come back, and those types of that type of research data is going to be invaluable to you. Had you been doing that for Christmas, there was a ton of stuff that was really, really popular at Christmas. Had you been doing that last year at Valentine's Day, there was a ton of stuff that was doing really, really well at Valentine's Day, and you could be using that, or could have been using that to prepare yourself for the next holiday. Yeah. So that's what we mean by not only your own sales data, but also your own research data. And you can't get that unless you actually do research. Can't stress that enough. If you want to win in this game, you got to do research. You got to know what people are looking at and buying. And then, of course, there's just, there's trends that are happening. In the media, you can always find an idea from something that's going on. And if you can put a spin on it with a holiday, you kind of hit, it's a double hit. You've got the trend and you've got the holiday. Yeah, it's a double whammy. So those are some ideas for how to kind of get your research design ideas. And then from there, what are we doing?
Yeah, from there you need to actually take those ideas and assign them to your design staff, or design them yourself. Because you need to actually make them a reality. And you one thing you need to do when you're doing that is you need to give yourself a timeline or a due date for completion. Because all of these things, because it is seasonal, but that then means that it's also very time sensitive,
right?
And you need to be prudent with your timeline and when you're going to have things listed and ready. A couple things that you want to keep in mind when you're getting these things, or even when you're researching design ideas, and especially when you're designing them, is you're going to want to trademark and copyright check what you're doing. And make sure that it's not going to infringe on anything, because that research is very invaluable to you, especially if you do it on the front end. You're going to save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of having to combat, trademarks and copyrights and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing that I'll say with design is when you see something on Amazon, Etsy that is selling well, you think is funny, that's going to be applicable for this holiday, don't just copy and paste that design onto your shirt or your mug. Don't copy word for word. Give a new spin on it. Be original. Change verbiage. Add new images. Just put your own spin on the concept, because that also just is a CYA measure, so that whoever owns that other design doesn't find yours and come after you and try and tell you that you just stole their work, which you would have, and they would be right to say that to you. So. Travis, can you think of anything as far as when it comes to designing and assigning them to designers? What's some stuff that people need to be cognizant of going into that?
Well, I'll just reiterate and stress the point of really the timeline piece, because we have this system. When we had 4 designers on staff, and we had some people that were researching for them. We had this whole calendar that was, laid out. And at this point, you should be researching these. And then at this point, the designs should be in. And there were a couple times that we had researched good ideas for a particular holiday, and the designers got behind, and they never got the designs in time. And so I would get designs, 2 weeks before the holiday. And by then, what can I do?
It's too late.
It's too late. So I got to sit on this design for a whole year because it's specifically a shamrock that says Happy 4th or no, happy. No, not Happy 4th. But you know what I mean.
It's for the Irish that are super, super into Independence Day.
Exactly. Hey, there's the double whammy right there.
There you go.
But yeah, so you got to make sure that you stay on your designers, or if you're doing it, you got to be diligent enough to make sure that you get them in the time, the time that you've allotted yourself, so you can then go on to the next stage at what we're saying 3 months out, and obviously these are kind of, these are
it's a loose timeline type,
exactly.
Just for the sake of the format of the show and structuring, we're doing it. But now it's January, and you still have time, I would say, for another week or so to start, get your Valentine's Day and your St. Patrick's Day stuff out and ready to go. But we'll say that 3 months out is to get the products listed, create the listings on the platforms that you are selling on: Amazon, Etsy, Walmart, your own websites, whatever that looks like. You need to get them out, of course, for people to buy. And there's a couple things that go into getting them listed, of course. And that's one of them is mock-ups. You need to have a picture of what the customer can expect to receive. And there's a couple different things that we can use, or you can use, to do that. Placeit is fantastic. Mock-up generator tool. It's placeit.net. And it's a paid subscription, but I mean, it's so much you can do with that. You can, there's so much you can do with that. So you can put it on t-shirts, your images on t-shirts, on hats, on hoodies, videos. They have video images that you can actually superimpose the design on. I mean, anything you can think of, it's available on Placeit for you to make a mock-up of. And then you just download it. You can make it with transparent backgrounds. You can make it with colored backgrounds, whatever it is. Just virtual mock-ups, lifestyle shots. It's all there for you.
Yeah. And the cool thing is that you don't need Photoshop for this particular tool.
No.
You don't
it does it all
need
for
it
you.
at all. Yeah, it does it all for you. You can download the image as you've created it on the mock-up, or as you've created it on Placeit, and then literally upload it right to your listing. Another place that you can go for mock-ups that I think more of, like the Etsy style mock-ups. There's a few more kind of Etsy-ish mock-ups there. It's Creative Market, and I believe it's creativemarket.com. I could be wrong, but if you do go into Creative Market, they have different packages and different sellers basically that are. The Creative Market is just like literally a marketplace for artists and selling their digital designs. And some of them are PSD, some of them are AI, some of them can just be literally like PNGs or JPEGs or whatever. So you got to know what you're buying. But if some of them come with, like for example, if you're doing Photoshop and you're doing a mock-up on a mug, the mugs, I mean, when you see a mug, there's a curvature to it. And so some artists on Creative Market that have a Photoshop mock-up have done what's called a smart object. So you can literally drop your art into the layer, your PNG into the layer, and then it'll kind of warp it to where it looks like it's curved around the mug. And that's called a smart object in Photoshop. And but then there's others that don't do that. They don't have that, and so it doesn't look as realistic, I guess, because it's just a flat image on a curved object. It looks kind of weird, Now on a t-shirt, it's not that big of a deal. Okay.
If you have Photoshop, I was going to say, if you don't have the Photoshop wherewithal to know how to manipulate, on that layer, then and to make it look more curved, then it will look more flat if it's not a smart object like you were saying, which is awesome. And it is creativemarket.com. where you can go for that tool. Another one that we've just recently learned of here, it's called Batch Mockup Generator. And what you can do with Batch Mockup Generator is you can take a blank mockup, blank shirt, blank mug, blank whatever, and choose that as your mockup in the system or in the software, and then you place the image on the first one. You press go, and it generates for every shirt color that you want. You select the color, and it just like spits it out for you. It's awesome. It does them like 5 to 10 minutes. It can do hundreds at a time, and so it can save you a lot of time if you're wanting to make them in bulk. And then, hey, I have this design done with all the mockups. Now I have this design, so you can get them done super quick, and then spend more time and get to the actual listing process,
right,
a lot faster. So that's Batch Mockup Generator. You guys can look that up. We've just recently started using that now, and Jason has been more hands-on with that than I have. So, but I've used it a couple times. It's super user-friendly. It's not hard to figure out at all. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and it's a huge time saver as opposed to just trying to make them one at a time and go from there. I'd say that the next thing after mockups, and Travis, we were talking before we pressed record, like listings, making an effective listing could be an episode in and of itself.
Yep.
Because there's so much that goes into fine-tuning a listing and getting it dialed in. So that'll probably be an episode in the future. But another facet of it that we want to touch on right now is keyword research. And you were telling me about keywords everywhere. Tell people what that is and what it does for you and how it can help you leverage the information into your listing process.
Yeah, so in our business, we've been using Merchant Words, and there's Merch Informer. I think it has a feature that you can get some keywords, and then Merch Titans has a place that you can get keywords. And then recently, I came across this Keywords Everywhere. It's actually a Google Chrome browser extension, and once you install it, you can kind of tweak some of the settings in there. It's a free browser extension that has the ability to upgrade, and I'll tell you about that. But the free version, if you turn on the Google part, when you Google something, it'll show related keywords, which is really helpful when you're just trying to think through some keywords that some buying keywords that people would use to put in your back end if you're on Amazon or if you're just trying to build titles for like Etsy or put them in your description or wherever, and you want to have some related things. Having these related keywords just show up on the side of your browser is really helpful. And then you can go pretty deep in the rabbit hole. You can click on one of those related keywords and then get a whole new list because it'll just open up a new search for that new related for that keyword. And just keep going on and on. It also works on Amazon and Etsy, which is really amazing. You click and basically you do the search, and then in the extension, you can click on it, and then there's a button called Analyze Data, and it'll analyze whatever is on that page, and it'll basically tell you how many times specific keywords are showing up on that, so you can see kind of keyword density on the related keywords. And this is all in the free tool. If you pay for this stuff, this is where it gets really cool. They have like a credit system, and I'm not totally, I haven't paid for it yet, so I'm not really into exactly how it works. But you can actually see the competition, and you can see the trends, and you can see the what's the word? Not the density, but the search volume. So the search volume is, like how many people are searching for nurse coffee mug. Okay. And then the competition score is basically, if you think Google AdWords, if I want to rank for nurse coffee mug in Google, I'm going to have to pay something for that to rank for that particular, if I want to put an ad for that particular keyword. And so Google gives that, it's an auction-based system, so we, the people, kind of basically bid how much we would pay for it. And so the bid goes up and up and up, and maybe it's $2 or $1.50 or 20 cents. I have no idea what it is. The competition score gives you that data. And so what you're trying to look for is you're trying to look for something that has a low competition score, but a high number of a high search volume, because then you can potentially, there's not a lot of competition.
Yeah. The barrier of entry is much lower for those. Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very valuable data. But for us, it's just really a great tool for our virtual assistants as they're looking for keywords for particular listings, just to have that browser extension on, and they can quick go over to Google and type a couple of words and then get some more ideas as they're building our listings for us. So that's been a very cool tool for our company.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's also cool, I mean, for the VAs too, because, sometimes because most, and in my experience, VAs we hire are out of country. It's nice for them to be able to Google something and then have that tool to see keywords that would be related or what they can enter. So you don't have to worry about them entering keywords that aren't really related to the design or the holiday that you're selling for. So after it's all listed and all ready to go, we'll go to the 2-month out marker. And that's when you need to get stocked up on inventory. Inventory is multifaceted. You need to make sure you have enough blanks, T-shirts, mugs, hoodies, whatever you're selling. You want to make sure that you have enough of it, because it sucks when you end up getting a crazy good idea and then it's like, oh crap, we're out of hoodies or crew necks or whatever, and now I can't fulfill and we're missing sales. So you want to make sure you have enough blanks.
Been there, done that.
Supplies. Yeah, that was part of. I mean, we talked about this, of course, in recent episodes with stuff that was going on with COVID, like that.
Apparel rants. You remember apparel rants?
Apparel rants.
Apparel rants.
So that is so that was part of the problem, but it wasn't so much that we couldn't plan on that, or we didn't make enough preparations. It was just kind of out of nowhere, and it snuck up on us. I'm trying to get the dog to stop. Because I know you can hear it.
I could totally hear it. That's the dog that's the attack dog that destroyed your back, right?
Yes. No. Well, actually, that's the oldest dog that destroyed my back. So for people listening, it's the vicious 13-pound Shih Tzu that's yelling because he's outside, and my wife is pottying him at the moment. Shipping supplies, you got to make sure that you have plenty of boxes, bags, tapes, labels, bubble wrap. Travis, Q4, I text you. I said, do you have an extra roll of UPS labels of the shipping labels for the thermal printer? Because we're out, and you obviously can't ship anything without shipping labels. It just doesn't work that way. Travis, what else do people need to make sure they have enough of when they're getting ready for holiday?
Raw materials. So your ink, your sub paper, your pre-treat, if you're doing DTG, and then, I mean, you mentioned bubble wrap. I literally I drove multiple places to get bubble wrap. I bought bubble wrap from 4 different people, this Q4. So, I mean, this type of stuff happens, where you get into the thick of things and you're like, oh crap, I don't have enough X to get through. And so, one thing that we didn't put on here is to have multiple backup vendors. So, in our apparel rants segment, we were talking about how we would go to one vendor, then go to another vendor, I had 4, apparel vendors that I was using during Q4, and I ordered from all of them because inevitably somebody was out of something and I had to go to the next particular vendor. So that's another thing that you want to make sure you have in place, that relates to inventory and your shipping supplies and your raw materials. So, and then the other thing that I'll say is have backups. So if you have one sub printer, maybe if your business is doing well enough, get a second one, maybe have a backup, have a couple of presses instead of just one mug press. You guys have 2 DTG machines, and I'm very thankful that mine didn't go down because I only have one.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. We've talked about in the past, when you had your first shop, even now it was like your printer would go down. Hey guys, can I come fulfill some stuff, or can I have you fulfill this? Or so contingencies are super, super important, whether it's someone locally that, you know, like in this instance, you know, you have a friend that has a shop, like, hey, can we come run these after hours? We just need to get these done. Or contingencies, you have a backup printer. You have backup presses. You buy more bubble wrap than you think you need because you just never know. It's like you stock up on the labels. Just as many backup things as you have, because you know you'll move through stuff like that because it's raw material and you're always using labels. You're always using bubble wrap. So, you know, worst case scenarios, you're holding on to it for a couple months until it's used, but it's not going to be a completely like lost cause having those backups when it comes to those raw materials. But yeah. If you're doing well, if your business is doing well, backup printers, sub printers are always a good idea because you never know. I mean, we've had one of our printers go out 2 weeks ago with, you know, timing belt issues, and we were down to one printer. If that was our only printer during the middle of Q4, it would have been a 5-alarm fire, and we would have been trying to figure out how we're going to make this work. So having contingencies is a huge, huge thing. Travis. A month and a half, 2 months, we'll say, out. Advertising. I know you've done some stuff with Facebook ads. Tell us about, you know, Facebook ads and just ads in general, what you'd want to do to start driving traffic to the listings or the store or the site that you've built in preparation for this holiday.
Yeah, I will fully admit I am in no way, shape, or form an expert on Facebook ads. I did have some success with an ad, or with some ads that I ran for some Father's Day stuff that I did this last year, and learned a lot. I learned a ton about Facebook ads. One of the things I didn't have any idea, but there's a testing phase that Facebook is basically just spending your money to collect data, and you'll make some sales during that testing phase. But the whole idea is to not pause if you can afford it. And you know, again, this is the caveat. You need to be able to have a budget for this because Facebook will spend your money, and you can blow through a lot of money if you don't find winners. But you at the same time. If you're ready for this, and if your business is like at a place where it can afford to budget for some of this, you need to first of all go through the entire testing phase so that Facebook can learn as much as it possibly can about your product and about the potential buyers that would potentially buy it. Once it's out of the testing phase, that's when you can really find the winners. There's a whole lot more that we could say about Facebook ads, and we literally, this is another, you know, show that we should do. But I guarantee it's going to be an interview. It's not going to be us talking about it because there's so much to Facebook, and they can be incredibly profitable, but they can also be a money hole. You know, you can just spend and spend on these
sink
things.
and not get any return. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think ads in general, you know, advertising, Facebook, Etsy, you know, it should be its own episode, like you said, with an interview with someone that's more versed in that. Because I know, like you said, you've done some Facebook ads. We have some Facebook ads. We've ran a couple. Ran a couple, you know, pay-per-click stuff on Amazon, but nothing that's like you said, at a level where it's like expertise stuff. It's just kind of like, hey, we figured this out by fumbling the ball a couple times, and we learned how to do it better the next time. So once people get to your listing, and the holiday is upon you, it's a month. Like Travis said, a month away from a holiday is not the time to cram for that test because you won't be able to do anything with the content that's made. But you follow all the steps, you're prepped, you're ready. 1 month through the holiday, you can continue your ads as long as you can reliably get to the product to the customer in time for that holiday. So maybe stop running the ads a week, 2-3 weeks before Christmas or the holiday or whatever, that you know that you can get people, you can get the product to the people on the day they need if it's a gift and whatnot. And then another big thing, Travis, and you talked about this in the last podcast too, is customer service. For custom orders. There's, you know, if you're Etsy, home decor, whatever, there's lots of custom stuff that people like to make for their gift, the people they want to give gifts to. But then delivery updates. We talked about managing expectations on delivery and the customer service part of it, right? So what else can you add to that as far as either the customer service or continuing the ads up through the holiday, up to the completion of the holiday?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, you're obviously your customer service is going to continue past the holiday, but I think the one thing that we do want to remember is that this is not just a one-time thing. So, 4 months out for one holiday might be 2 months out. You might be in the middle of this timeline, for another holiday. So my recommendation would be to take, a Google sheet or whatever and list the holidays that you want, and then back up, 2-3 months. And so, always in January, I'm always going to be researching for these holidays. I'm always going to be creating listings for these holidays, because the ones that you're creating listings for should be about 2 to 3 months out. And the reason we didn't talk about this earlier, but the reason you want to do them so early, the listing part of it, is because you want it to take hold in the algorithm. So if you're on Amazon, it takes a little while for it to kind of take hold and for people to start finding it, hopefully organically. You can throw a little gasoline on that fire if you do want to do some Amazon sponsored ads and push a little bit of traffic to it, through ads. And then hopefully that will spark some organic traffic. But you want to have that listing up early enough that it gets firmly established in the algorithm. But so like I said, you just want to make sure that you've got a system in place that allows you to be on top of this stuff, because the opportunities will pass.
Yeah, it's almost like you need the flow chart, Gantt chart, almost like a project management type setup where you can kind of see, like you said, these are the holidays. Okay, now I'm going to make a workflow chart or a Gantt chart to let me know where I'm at in the stages for each holiday. And so you just kind of work yourself into that rhythm, so you can be prepared for the holidays that are coming. So, I think, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like right now it's January 6th. And so we would be looking to April, if we were going to start right now. And April 7th is actually International Pillow Fight Day. Nice. So there you go. There it is. What are you going to do?
You have plenty of time.
You have plenty of time. It's also International Beaver Day, April 7th. and we're just going to leave that to the listeners' imagination, what that means. I have no idea, but it's International Beaver Day on April 7th. No idea.
We're not going to tell you one way or the other, but it just is that day. But now you guys have a rough flow work process for holidays that are coming up. So by the time August 28th comes up and it's Race Your Mouse Day, that you have all the time in the world to get all the mugs, shirts, hoodies you need for Race Your Mouse Day on the 28th of August.
Yes.
So, again, we can't. These lists are just.
Yeah. You're welcome. Okay, listener, you're welcome.
Yeah. You are very welcome for us imparting not only the knowledge of how to prep for a holiday, but the fact that May 21st is Talk Like Yoda Day. It is, or Yoda Like Talk Day. So just so you know, May 21st, Talk Like Yoda Day. There probably is a lot of stuff you could sell around that loosely without infringing on too many trademarks. We don't know. But, Travis, anything else before we put a bow on this thing and wrap it up and move on?
I think that's it. I think you said it all, man.
We could vamp on these ridiculous holidays all day, but we'll save the listener our horrible dad jokes and attempts at sarcastic humor on these holidays and say thank you guys again for listening, for joining us here on the Print on Demand Cast. As always, printondemandcast.com is where you can find the podcast, and info@printondemandcast.com is where you can reach out to Travis or myself with questions. Let us know your favorite obscure holiday that you never knew existed until now. Let us know how we made your dreams come true on this January 13th day of 2021. And also, we have a Facebook page. You can find Print on Demand Cast on Facebook, so you can interact with us there as well. Send us a message on that platform. And until then, guys, be sure to rate and subscribe on iTunes. We're available on iTunes, Google, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. We are there. Thank you guys so much for joining us again for another episode. And for Travis, I'm Josiah. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time right here on the Print on Demand Cast.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you've got a question or a suggestion for the show, send Travis and Josiah an email at info@printondemandcast.com. Take a minute to rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. And don't forget to subscribe now so you don't miss next week's episode. See you next week.